What is good, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new edition of El Boogie and the Bell. We are back remote, and you're here with El Boogie and also the Bell El Boogie. How are we doing?
Doing fantastic, man. We have finally made it to week one of the NFL season, and I'm ready to get into it.
Yes, it's been amazing to get back to week one. Very fun week one. So let's get straight into it. We're going to go right into our first segment. It's going to be El Boogie's NFL head coach takes. We're in the season. El Boogie, who are we coaching, and what are they doing, or how we got them rocking?
This week, I'm stepping into the shoes of Matt LaFleur, head coach of the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay Packers, they just lost the first ever NFL game in Brazil, close game to the Eagles. Unfortunately, late in the game, starting quarterback Jordan Love went down with, I believe it was an ankle injury, I think. But it's not season ending. He will be back this season, but the projected timeline is 3 to 6 weeks. Now, let's just say he's out for 6 weeks. That means you are relying on a backup quarterback for a third of the season. And Green Bay has expectations. Last year in the postseason, they were really solid, almost beat the 49ers. And they had expectations to, contend for the NFC North this season. So what do they do at quarterback? Well, you really have two options. You either A, trust your backup quarterback, who is Malik Willis, who they just traded for from Tennessee, or you go get a free agent quarterback. Personally, if I'm Matt LaFleur, I go and get quarterback Ryan Tannehill.
Okay.
But I don't get Ryan Tannehill to start. I get Ryan Tannehill to come and help Malik Willis be the best version of himself. Because with Ryan Tannehill, he doesn't have the skill or I just don't think he's a great quarterback at this point in his career, which is closer to the end. But he has years and years and years of wisdom that even a Jordan Love doesn't have, and that he could pass on to a quarterback like Malik Willis, who has the natural abilities, he has the talent, it just hasn't come together for him yet. This will be an opportunity for him to put his talent to use, and with a mentor like Ryan Tannehill guiding him for the next month, potentially month and a half, I think the Packers can squeeze by and maybe even win a couple games and keep their season alive. So I say you keep Malik Willis as your starter, but you bring in an experienced Ryan Tannehill to be a mentor.
Okay, I like it. I like it. And you don't think that there's any other available people that's not on the roster right now? Ryan Tannehill's at the top of the list.
I did look, and the options are not great. Like quarterbacks like Nate Sudfeld, Brian Hoyer, QBs who have been backups before and have a lot of experience, but I think Ryan Tannehill has had the most playing success out of all the available ones. Unless you can go and convince a quarterback to come out of retirement, I don't really see. I think Ryan Tannehill is your best option.
For sure. I don't have too much pushback on that just because they're losing. They lost one of their biggest pieces for this season anyway. So it's anything that you can do to mitigate loss, you should do. Unfortunately, they're 0-1 right now, so I don't see like a 0-6 start, but I see, getting a veteran quarterback, at least somebody who could game manage at the best of their abilities, makes the most sense. So I think that's some good head coaching right there. Especially if nobody's trying to make deals this early in the season. I think even people are pretty solidified with their backup quarterbacks and probably aren't ready to get rid of them. It's not this early in the season.
Yeah, unless you go and trade. I didn't even think about trading for a quarterback. Like maybe you could trade for like a Zach Wilson. Like if you want to trade for a Zach Wilson, or I doubt Indianapolis would give up Joe Flacco, but if you could squeeze Joe Flacco, that could be
that was
good.
what I was
That's
going to
probably
say.
better.
It's better than taking Joe Flacco off the couch again.
But he's not on the couch. He's on the team.
Who's he back up for again? Is he still with the...
He's on the Colts.
Oh, he got picked up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess. I think that's good coaching. So, all right, moving right into segment number 2, it is going to be El Boogie and the Bells trivia. I will get us started. So, in honor of the new season, the new week 1, this is gonna be a cool trivia. So we're not only are we gonna do a trivia, but I want to hear your opinion about how it's gonna, if something very similar is gonna happen this year, or if you got a couple changes. So El Boogie, nice and easy. I want you to tell me every single divisional winner from last year, every single division in the NFL.
Oh, okay. That's pretty
Just the divisional
straightforward.
winners. Yep.
Just the divisional winners. So Dallas.
You got
Dallas
Dallas.
won. The Ravens won.
Ravens won.
The Buccaneers, they won their
That's
division.
gonna be a good one. Keep going.
Houston. I think Houston won the division, right?
That's another good one.
Okay. The Lions obviously won their division. And the 49ers and the Chiefs and the Bills.
One more. Okay, cool. That was the easy part, and that's the completion of the trivia. Now, I want you to think real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Which two of these give me 2 divisions where you feel those aren't going to be the people who finish strong this year.
Oh, okay. So I'll switch up of who wins the division.
I'm thinking a lot of AFC East. I'm thinking a lot of AFC South, even a little bit. Let's see how Jacksonville comes back out. But I'm asking you.
Well, I think teams that are least likely to win their division again. Yeah, I think the Bills. Even though they had an impressive win, a comeback win against Arizona, I still don't buy them just because they are one Josh Allen injury away from being a very mediocre team. So I don't see the Bills repeating as AFC East champions, and I don't see. This is kind of tough. I was gonna say Dallas, but they looked really good today. They looked really good, and the Eagles didn't look terrible, but they didn't look necessarily better than last year. So I think Dallas stays.
AFC South, you got Houston, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Tennessee.
Nah, I still like Houston. Actually, I don't know. Indianapolis gave them a run for their money, so. But no, I think Houston still takes it. I would say the Packers. I was gonna say the Packers, but Jordan Love is hurt.
Yeah, that would have been. I like that division getting switched up a little bit, but I feel like Detroit's gonna come out strong. I think they want it. Even if they don't end up winning the Super Bowl, they want whatever they have right now. They want.
Really, the hot take would be San Francisco. San Francisco having a down year after years of coming close and close. Off season full of drama. They didn't look great in the preseason, especially Brock Purdy. I see a switch up there.
Are you still there?
Yep.
Yeah, it paused it for us, so we're good. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that San Francisco one. I do like it a lot, but I don't want to get so first week biased, but let's see how tonight goes and let's see how tomorrow goes, and we'll have an even better idea of where we're going with those. The only thing about San Francisco is they haven't fell off. They have the same team. Maybe a better system, or the system has improved, but same team. Same exact team. A couple people aren't happy, though, so that's where it gets a little interesting. But let's do this. NFC South is the most interesting one because you got teams that finished 9-8, 9-8, and 7-10. Atlanta Falcons have improved, even though they took a very rough week 1 loss. New Orleans Saints blew the Panthers out of the water. Maybe they ride this momentum for a while. And we have yet to see Tampa Bay. Who did Tampa play? Oh, no.
They
Tampa
beat
Bay
up
did
the
awesome.
Commanders. Yeah, they
Tampa
beat up the Commanders.
Awesome. I got 2 touchdowns with Mike Evans on the fantasy team, so that's a good one. All right. Not to extend the trivia, so El Boogie, give it to me.
All right, Abell, can you name me we're in week 1, obviously, and in history, we've seen some pretty big week 1 performances. Can you name the QBs with the most week 1 passing yards in NFL history? In one game, I should say, not over a career, just one game.
Let's do Peyton Manning. You remember he came out just absolutely redonkulousness?
Peyton Manning, he's number 5. Against Baltimore week 1 in 2013, he went nuts for 462.
All right. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Peyton Manning against Baltimore. Whew. All right. Are we thinking quarter? Is the past 20 years, or how far back can we go?
One of them is I don't think you're gonna get one because it's like from 1950. But two of them are historically great quarterbacks, and one of them is an active quarterback, actually. Oh fudge!
All right. Give it to me, El Boogie.
All right, so we are in week 1, and we've seen some pretty big week 1 performances from QBs in history. So, Abell, can you tell me the 5 quarterbacks with the most passing yards in a week 1 game?
Let's go. Peyton Manning 1.
Peyton Manning, number 5 on the list. Back in 2013, he tore up the Baltimore Ravens, threw for 462.
Let's go with the GOAT. Let's go with the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, number 2 on the list. 517 yards back in 2011. Fresh out the gate.
Ew. Man, imagine starting your season with half of 1,000.
Right?
Let's go Drew Brees. Shut up, Drew Brees.
Nope. Not Drew Brees. He's down at number 10.
Give me an era.
All right, so one player is currently playing. Another player, he was like a really good quarterback in the 90s. And the 5th one, you might not get the 5th one because it's from 1951, but maybe.
Let me get Patty or Josh Allen.
Neither one of those guys. You're think like big explosive passing offense. It happened last year, actually.
Oh, let me get Tua.
Tua Tagovailoa at number 4 opened the season with 466 yards.
What year?
Last year.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Shouts out to you. And then you said a good quarterback in the 90s. Give me Mr. Elway.
Not Mr. Elway.
Trying to think. It's not. Is it Joe Montana? No. Is he the 90s?
Not Joe Montana.
Damn, we weren't born. A quarterback who dominated in the night. Brett Favre.
Not Brett Favre. Good guess.
That's a hell of a
guess.
guess.
That's a pretty good guess.
That
is a good guess.
I had to pull that one out.
Surprisingly, this quarterback also played for the Miami Dolphins.
I don't know if I'll get it.
Think big name Miami Dolphin quarterback.
Damn. I can't tell you.
Money Man Dan Marino.
That's the name I was trying to say, not Joe Montana. Damn it. It is Dan Marino. That's the name I was literally trying to say. Dan Marino. All right, that's
number 3 on the list at 473. And I'll just go ahead and give you this one because we could sit here forever and I doubt you would get it. Norm Van Brocklin in 1951. Right? But he threw for 554 yards week 1 in 1951. So this is actually before the Super Bowl era.
My goodness. Yikes. Well, shouts out to him. That's crazy. The Tom Brady one's absolutely bananas. That, like, just to start your season off with that many yards, crazy. But yeah, all right. I guess I didn't do too bad there. All right, moving right into our topics of the day, El Boogie. It is week 1. It is the beginning of the NFL football season. It is literally a big contribution to why we do this show at all. Let's shine some light on the guys who are the future of the NFL. Who are your top impressive rookies from week 1? I'll throw some names out there if you need to think of some, but rookies that come right off the top of your head.
Um, I think of just offensive rookies, and I saw plays. I saw pretty much every game for all the rookie QBs. And what's interesting is none of them, except for Jaden Daniels, I didn't watch Jaden Daniels, but none of them really looked that good. They all kind of looked shell shocked. They all had good moments, of course. It wasn't all bad, but none of them really had a crazy start. None of them had like a Cam Newton game one where they scored 3 touchdowns and 400 yards. Um, yeah, I don't know. The rookie QB certainly struggled. I think I saw some defensive players go crazy. Tavondre Sweat, I think he was from Texas. The Titans drafted him. Man, he's a large human. He's a large human clogging up the middle, helping out that Titans front four.
So
But
the
yeah,
the
what
Broncos
did you
actually
see?
have we got some humongous dude. He like baby face. This dude is gigantic, big white boy. We got a D tackle for the Broncos, and he gets back there. He works. He works for sure. I didn't see him do anything too crazy, but I did see his size and I did see his effectiveness today. But giving real credit, my number one rookie, my current candidate in week one of rookie of the year, Xavier Worthy.
Oh yeah,
Baller.
yeah. Oh
Baller,
man,
balling, 2 touchdowns. And he didn't have a lot of yards, but every time he got the ball, it was the most impactful play of the series. Crazy. I thought
how
that
about
was
that?
dope to see.
First NFL touch, runs in a touchdown. Later that game,
Yeah.
catches a touchdown. Like his speed was definitely showcased, and I feel like, unfortunately for everybody else, Kansas City may have found a Tyreek Hill replacement because the guy is fast, he moves, and he seemed pretty capable. Like I was worried about him being kind of small, but it it did not stop him when you're faster than everybody else.
See, that was my next thing with him is I wonder I don't remember Tyreek ever being small, but I'm sure he was smaller at the beginning of his career. I wonder how much weight they want to put on compared to keep him where he's at, because we had our people like Chris Johnson who never put on weight. But if you get hit one good time, that's it'll make you think about it. I thought Xavier Worthy looked tiny out there. I thought he looked fast. I thought he looked explosive. He is my early pick for rookie of the year over all of these quarterbacks. My question for you now is: did you see Drake May, or did he not get the spot?
He is backup quarterback to Jacoby
Okay,
Brissett.
yeah, okay, I just read that.
So yeah,
Blake
no
Corum
May,
playing
no Michael
now.
Penix.
Who else?
I did
Trying to
watch
think.
like 80% of the Caleb Williams game. I did watch that.
How do you feel?
He had splash plays, and he also made a couple rookie mistakes, like holding on to the ball too long, like not knowing when to just throw it away. Instead of like taking a sack and losing a ton of yards. Um, the offense showed potential. It really did show potential, especially like Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. Like he has weapons. DeAndre Swift is a capable running back. Their offense just did not come together today. Let's take a step back. Do you remember a couple months ago when I said the Titans were going to be contenders because their defense was really good?
Yeah.
Their defense looked fantastic today. They were getting pressure with just rushing four. That's what also made it hard for Caleb. Four people getting pressure and then seven dropping back in coverage doesn't leave you a lot of options. That Titans defense was good, but yeah, Caleb looked okay. Not the start he would have wanted or anybody would have wanted. Their offense struggled. They won the game mostly because of their defense and special teams. They had like a pick
That's
six, a couple good stops. So
and that's exactly what I was gonna go to. Nothing's better than helping your quarterback out, much like the Jets had to do the entire season last year. We saw what they had at quarterback and what they ended up with at quarterback, but having such a powerful defense to at least bring the team's morale up. From the highlights I saw, it was all about the defense. It wasn't really about most 24 of those points coming from Caleb Williams. It was more about the defense keeping them in this game and winning this game for them. So that's good. I mean, it's good. And even for Bo Nix, going into like how Bo Nix did, I think the Broncos played well. I don't think the Broncos had a bad game. I think they led a lot of offensive drives and crazy stuff happened in the second half. I think that they started with good good punting. They got a safety. They started with a lot of stops, kept the score low in the first half. When you have a team like that, it makes your quarterback look a lot better, knowing that they didn't have the best game or consistent or long drives or anything of that nature. So shout out to both of those teams who are actually looking out for the quarterbacks, even though the Broncos did lose. So you got any
Let's
other
see who.
QB on your hot? Anybody else on your hot list? Brock
No, I
Bowers.
didn't. I didn't watch Jaden Daniels. I did not watch the Raiders and Chargers game. That did not pique my interest at all.
That's a good Google. I just want to see what Brock Bowers did. Raiders. Let's see what Brock he did. Brock ended up with. Okay. He got six receptions for 58 yards. That's a lot of targets. That's a fair amount
that's
of
pretty
targets.
good. That's a
Worth
good.
picking up.
Yeah.
Okay. And nah, he did not score. All right, that's cool. All right, El Boogie, what we got?
All right, Abell. After we've gone through, we have all but 2 Week 1 games left. So up to this point, Abell, which team has been the biggest disappointment of Week 1?
Crack my neck for this one. The Panthers. The Panthers were the biggest disappointment. Yes, because
really
2 years in a row, I don't want to see this team get blown out for the rest of the season. I don't want to see a 1-16. I mean, yeah, now that is what it'll be. I don't want to see a 1-16 team again. You're supposed to be 4, 5, and whatever's left. So 6-10 or whatever. 6-11. That showed me that we are ready to be a 2-15 team. That it's just not cool. It's not like this franchise is used to being one of the bottom franchises in the league. It's not like they didn't have a full off season to prepare for the season to not get blown out by teams. You know what I mean? The Broncos got blown out really bad last year. The Chargers got blown out a couple times last year. You don't come out week 1 looking like a worser team. And I'm not saying that the Saints look like a Super Bowl team. And I know that the Saints aren't a Super Bowl team. So we can't sit here and be like, oh, well, the Saints are just going to be the top of their division. That's not what it is. That's not what we've recorded over the offseason. I'm disappointed because were you guys not prepared not to get blown out? When you guys were chanting in the locker room, were you guys not preparing to not get blown out? I understand that there's a gap versus great and good and being one of the lesser teams in the NFL, but a whole offseason and we're preparing ourselves just to lose like that again. When would that switch around? My biggest disappointment.
That's a valid point. I am surprised you said Carolina just because there were no expectations that Carolina was going to come out here and be a really good team this year. Now, granted, you do want to see improvement. Like they looked like the same 2-15 team from last year, which is not a good look. Bryce Young still looked uncomfortable after a whole season of starting, a whole off season. He didn't really look comfortable. They got a new head coach. That didn't make a difference. I mean, as the season goes on, we'll see, all right, is it really the Saints defense just being fantastic? Or is it the Panthers just not having it together again? I think the only good part is, all right, if they do really bad this year, at least this year they get to keep their first round pick, at least. So, but yeah, that is surprising. I didn't think you were gonna say that.
Because all I'm gonna do is put more pressure on the teams that we expect to not be good this year. But once you're getting blown out week 1, like what's motivating you guys knowing that we're not gonna be able to compete with these upper teams? So I could say Giants, but we don't have expectations for the Giants this year. They lost everything.
Nah.
The same expectations we had for the Panthers last year is what we have for the Giants this year. So that's why I'm more disappointed in the Panthers than I am the Giants. I'm a little bit disappointed in the Falcons, but I watched the whole game. It was just an awkward game. Truly, like it was a very awkward game. They got to get used to Kirk Cousins. I like the Justin Fields. He's just there. I don't know. There's something about him and Russ and the way that they play where it's like they could play Patrick Mahomes and somehow the score still ends up being 7-13. You know what I mean? Like, there's just something about the way they play and the pace and everything. It's just so much slower. And the explosive plays are just like, yeah, they have them, but they're all like far. So I don't know. He plays very much like Russell Wilson to me, which is absolutely hilarious. But
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
see, the Falcons were my biggest disappointment for week one, just
Yeah.
because of all the things that they had this offseason. I mean, you signed Kirk Cousins to a big contract, and he's supposed to be the engine that gets your offense going, especially when you have potential on that offense. You really do. Like, they have a bunch of good young talent, and you think, all right, bring in a veteran, accomplished quarterback who has shown that, all right, as long as he has a decent weapon, or a really good, at least just one good weapon, he is a serviceable and good quarterback. And it was anything but today. I mean, he had 2 picks against the Steelers, who, going into this season, we didn't really expect the Steelers to be great. So, I think that's why they're the biggest disappointment, is because people said, "Oh, the Falcons are going to win the NFC South. Like, the Falcons are going to take that division." But today we saw them not do great against the Steelers team, and you see the Buccaneers have a great offensive day. So, where's this division leading Atlanta Falcons team? So they're my biggest disappointment for today, and a close second is going to be Cincinnati. I mean, yeah, you were on the road playing New England, but Cincinnati, I watched the first half. A lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes. T. Higgins did not play. I guess he injured a hamstring in practice this week. But they definitely could have used him, because that offense could not move the ball to save their lives. They looked bad. But I think the reason why I didn't put them at number one is because over the last 5 seasons, in the first 2 weeks of the season, if you count up those first 2 weeks for the last 5 seasons, they've gone 1-9. So the Bengals have, all under Zach Taylor and with Joe Burrow, they have had terrible starts to every season. So losing a game like this to a New England team that everybody thought was going to be terrible, it's kind of on par with who they are. So that's why they're not my biggest disappointment. But the Falcons, man, we had expectations. We thought they had figured it out with the QB, but I guess not.
So this is what I will say about the Falcons. Damn it, I lost my point with the Falcons. They lost to good coaching today. Now, if people, much like you've probably heard me say this for the past couple years, El Boogie, and much like I said last year, shout out to Mike Tomlin. Like, it's just like every single team he gets, if nothing else, they play well coached. Like, they have give the best effort. I think they got out coached today. So that was very disappointing, knowing that you guys have way better pieces, or on paper what seems like better pieces, but you lost. Um, you had a quarterback who wasn't even supposed to play the entire day. You had the starting quarterback with his pads fully on. Like, the backup quarterback wasn't supposed to beat you today at all. That's the last thing we all expected. Um, that's Cincinnati. I got a point to prove with you, L Books. That is crazy. I'll call it first game jitters. Quarterback hurt, lost a couple pieces. Starting receivers not out, or WR1 wasn't out there, so I'm like, let's just chalk it up to like unprepared. Maybe everybody wasn't as prepared as they needed to be for week one, coming off of injuries and everything like that. A lot of pieces missing on that team, so that's very, very disappointing. And what was that last one you just threw out there?
The Bengals?
Bengals. That's what I just said. Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Hey, Bengals and Atlanta, man, they were my disappointments. Everything else was kind of like on par for the most part with how I thought today was going to go. Maybe you could say Deshaun Watson and the Browns, but like they looked exactly how they looked last year, a capable defense and not good quarterback play. So that's not really a disappointment to me, because I
And,
already
and we
seen it.
can't forget that the Cowboys are always going to be a top 3 team in there. Oh, excuse me, with Dak. They're always going to be a top 3 team in the NFC during the regular season. Yeah, during the regular season. So we got to give the Cowboys credit for being ready for the regular season and outplaying a team like Cleveland, who's trying to kind of find their identity. Yeah. Deshaun Watson, 24 or 45. I mean, it's not looking too good. 24 or 45, 170 yards, 2 interceptions. It's not looking too good. But as long as his pockets are loaded, so I'm sure his contract is not too
financially, he's great. Just financially, he is fantastic.
All right. And then we could do our predictions. So actively right now, as we're speaking, we got the Rams and Lions playing. What's your prediction for that? What about and then tomorrow the Jets and 49ers to finish out week 1?
I see the Lions pulling off the win at home. I think they're down 3-0 right now. That's fine. That's nothing to freak out about. Still first quarter. I see the Lions getting some momentum and winning this gritty game. I definitely see it being a close one, just like the playoff game last year. But yeah, I got the Lions winning today. And then tomorrow, I think that's going to be a fun one. I see a high scoring, even though we have two teams with good defenses. I see this being a 24 plus game for both teams. I could see like a 30-27 win for the San Francisco 49ers. I think they protect home, but I do see it. I see Aaron Rodgers. He shows a spark of who he was. Not a perfect game. I could see him having 2 touchdowns and a pick, but a good game nonetheless. But he comes up short against the Niners. That's my prediction for tomorrow.
It's a good bet. Good bet. Okay. And do you got anything else from week 1?
Man, nah, so far, I mean, things have been fun. It's been exciting. A lot of newness, a lot of new coaches, a lot of new players, new places, new faces. The Texans look good. Oh, man. My fantasy's been all over the place. I think Mark Andrews. The Ravens and Mark Andrews broke my heart because Isaiah Likely went crazy. I didn't know, like, is Mark Andrews not the tight end 1 anymore? He had like 3 points versus Isaiah Likely, who had like 30.
Isaiah Likely's built more like a receiver too. He's not that. I didn't think he was a tight end. I thought he was just kind of a heavier receiver.
I think he was a receiver in college. Like, I think he was, and they converted him to tight end.
Yeah, he looks like he just now bulked up. I mean, Mark Andrews is humongous, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he does for the rest of the season. I mean, he was literally 1 shoe size away from winning that game. So shout out whoever started him this week. Shout out to you. Unfortunately, whoever started Mark Andrews this week, shout out to you as well.
Yeah.
All right.
It was painful.
I think that about wraps us up for another episode. Do you want to take us out, please?
Once again, week 1 NFL season. Appreciate y'all tuning in to El Boogie and the Bell. We're going to be giving you NFL content, sports content throughout the NFL season and beyond. So make sure you check us out on YouTube, like our TikToks, leave us a comment. And yeah, we appreciate y'all once again, and we'll see y'all same time next week.
Peace.